Hi guys, Neff here, and today I got some locks in the mail. Thought maybe I'd do something a little bit different on video than I normally do. Normally you'll see me pick a lock and gut it out, but this one came new in box. I thought I might do an unboxing on video. I'm really excited about it. I love getting locks as part of my collection, which goes way beyond what's on the desk here, but I love getting ones that are new in packaging, things I can save, so this is pretty exciting for me. What we have here is the Dom, Ix or IX. I might stand for 9. Dom, Ix, Saturn. It's a pretty cool lock. You can see that highlighted in red. That's actually an interactive element we're going to take a look at on the key. But let's get her open here and see what we got. So I've got this half euro. And let's pull a key, the euro. That's the screw for mounting, of course, and we get this nice code card. And for those that don't know, restricted key locks like this that have very special keys or keys that are difficult to make or order require a locksmith that's a dealer. Got to take this card to them with these exact numbers on it to prove that you own this key and this lock, and that's how you get a key made. So you can't just take a key to a dealer and say copy this for these types of locks, which obviously right off the bat makes them slightly more secure than your average lock. You know, when we're talking about picking, that might be a different story depending on the lock, but as far as key control and controlling who has keys, those cards are pretty cool. And I have a couple. I've got a couple stacked up right here and a couple more besides that. I like collecting those. So let's take a look at this key. This is the Saturn Key, and there's just the code for the bitting on it. So this is the interactive element I was talking about. My understanding is it's called the Saturn Ring. You can see it falls down flush with the key there, and when it goes in the lock, see how that pops out on an angle. Actually, if you can see it, I'm trying to get the light on it, but it comes out at an angle and interacts with something in the lock. Now the interesting thing, we're going to get this gutted on camera, but this is going to be a first for me too. I haven't seen it, so we're learning together. So we've got a little bit of bitting on the side. It is a reversible key, so all the bitting on the top and on one side will match. That way you can reverse it over and it'll match again. So, and there we go. That must be why the interactive element comes out at an angle. That way it can be reversed, because it comes out on kind of this side on an angle, and then when you turn it over and it pushes up, it comes out on the opposite side at an angle. So that makes a little bit of sense there. So let's get this opened up here. The only thing I've done is I opened the box real quick and played with these rings a little bit just to see if I could do this semi-quickly on camera, which let's hope I can. So again, I'm using Lock Noob's gutting tool, circlip removal tool, which is a godsend. Alright guys, now that we are gutted, I'll probably time-lapse all that because that took me quite a while. Let's take a look at what's inside this lock. This video should work out pretty well for those of you interested in buying one and picking one, seeing what you're in for if you buy one. I just made this new tray and my slots are a little smaller than I had planned, but I've got a new one being made right now. So, alright, so we've got these shark fin pins, which you can see there. Sorry, I'm just working on my lighting a bit. Yeah, nothing's helping, so it is what it is. We've got these shark fin pins. And the shapes you're seeing on the side, if you haven't picked one of these before, is because it just has to be turned in a certain way when it's inside the core and the cylinder, and if it gets turned while it's in there, it won't work. So they machine the holes instead of being perfectly round in a weird shape so that it'll all go back together right and be on the correct angle when you hit your shear line. So this is got some sort of serration, so if you overset it, you're kind of screwed right there. The driver on that looks almost like a gin spool of some sort. Same thing in number 2 with another deep serration. Number 3 is a very small fin. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's because it seems to be a pretty low set, or so when it's sitting down, yeah, real low set. I'm not real sure, but yeah, pretty standard. That's probably as close as you get to a standard on there. And we have a legitimate spool, which is kind of cool to me. I'm really hoping that this lot gives me like a false set and I have to set spools. I love setting spools, even on locks like the American 1100, stuff like that. So we're in stack 4 that has another very deep serration, same like a gin bottle spool. I'm just going to call it a gin spool because I'm not 100% sure. That one is also one with what looks to be, it's got a taper to it. Maybe that'd be called like a T-pin or just a tapered pin, but yeah, it has taper going up on it. Ooh. This one is, it's standard, but right by where the cut is, it does have a taper, so depending on where that sits in the lock, it might actually be considered or work like a tapered pin. We have another spool in 7 with standard with I don't know. I think both of these would be like standards. It just kind of looks like a taper because of the way it has to be machined to fit and work in the lock. This is also a standard with a spool in pin stack number 8. Standard key pin spool driver. In number 9, we have another gin spool and a heavily serrated key pin. Now here's our interactive element. Let's check and see if it has a different spring. I'm just curious about that. It doesn't. It's the same coppery looking springs that's in the rest of them. I was just curious. Alright, so it looks like the kind of the pins that are in the side, that the side bitting on the key is going to touch. So there's our key side bitting, and then there's our key side pins we'll talk about in a moment. It looks kind of like those. Let's get you a nice clear look at it here. It's just kind of a T-pin of some sort, and then the driver for it itself is another gin spool. Whoa, heavily angled for some reason. I mean, that angle looks even harsher than what is in the rest of the chamber. So I don't know, maybe it'll offer some more difficulty or a tough feeling when you try to set it. I assume that when you pick this lock, you will pick all the pins and then the interactive, but even I don't know that for sure, which is why I wanted to do a video like this, because I'm about to progressive pin this, and why not show everyone. I like people to follow along with me, so why not? There's our spring, just a standard driver spring. That's what's in every chamber on there. And the key control pins, yeah, they don't hit anything except for what looks to be kind of a sidebar chamber, which this doesn't have a sidebar, but the pins have to push out into that, so it pushes out into these little V's. Get this focused. Yeah, that little V. The pins are initially out, or I mean, they're kind of free moving because there's no spring on them. But if you put a key in there that has been copied or something along those lines, or something you impressioned, these, if they don't also push these pins correctly, you'll have a problem, because they will stay pushed out and stuck in those V channels on the cylinder. So I call this the core and not the cylinder, so I'm not actually sure if this is cylinder, but that's what I use. So yeah, they're just little, like, almost like cap pins and little T-pin things, so they go in. This one is actually a zero lift. It just sits deep in there and doesn't get touched by the key, so they look like that. And let's get one that is touched by the key, because it actually has a like a head on it there, so that's what's protruding out into that V channel. Alrighty guys, that one went right there. I'll have to make sure on that one I put them back together, but I know there was a skip channel there, and I could have swore there was a skip channel there, but what I'll do is I'll put the key in and see what works. So thanks a lot for following along with this. Hopefully I'll have a video up for you guys soon watching me get this picked, and if anybody has any questions, suggestions, anything else, I am happy to oblige. Look forward to hearing from you. You guys have a great night.